Well, first of all, before we start, I hope you enjoyed your Memorial Day weekend. You know, we did take some time out. We're getting back into schedule. Yes, we did not put up a show on Tuesday. We just wanted to take fully, you know, we did a barbecue and everything like that. We had some fun, even though the weather wasn't too great. It was cold. Northeast was cold this weekend. Unbelievable. We had to turn the heat back on. We had 90-degree weather sometime last week, and I don't know what the hell happened. You know, maybe it was the snow miser showed up and went to town on us. So, you know, we're back. Thank you for tuning in. I mean, we really, you know, of course, first of all, hit that subscribe, like, and share. Very important on there. So, we're getting back to the CW again. Oh, man. Sometimes, you know, they just keep pulling you back in. So there's been a lot going on with the CW. And it is just amazing what has been going on. I mean, first top to talk about this. I mean, we were going to do this on separate videos, but I said, let's throw them all together. You know, the Powerpuff Girls live action has been mothballed, gone back to the drawing board. The pilot, the pilot didn't work out well.
I fucking knew it. Oh!
I guess they just didn't look good. I mean, the CW is trying to do damage control because the script got leaked online, and the CW tried to get them copyrighted and stuff like that, and didn't work out well. And some of the stuff in there was just, oh my God. I mean, from the death of Mojo Jojo that one of the Powerpuff Girls did, to them talking about sexual innuendos. See, that's not Powerpuff Girls. That is not Powerpuff Girls. They said, oh, our life wasn't that great because we were superheroes. See, this is where you write in that these people that they write the stuff never really were fans of the Powerpuff Girls. Probably never saw an episode, and that was it.
Maybe you better let us in to fix it. Bitch, it wasn't made for you. You had no business coming in here and ruining it.
Or didn't see it. You know, we learned that from a couple of other people that have done TV series and said, well, I never really saw anything about Mephisto. That's why, you know, the way WandaVision ended up, because I really didn't know about it. You know, that's the ridiculous thing, is that you have people writing TV shows that know nothing. When you write a TV show that is based on something, you got to go out and do your research, because you're going to have people pointing out the things that are wrong about it constantly. And you may say, well, that's annoying. No, these are the people that pay money to watch your programming. You want that. And then you have like the CW CEO, Mark Pelowitz, who trying to say, well, it might have felt campy. No, it wasn't feeling campy. It was feeling disgusting. And, you know, from the pictures you've seen and stuff like that, it doesn't resemble Powerpuff Girls. It doesn't. You know, and obviously, you know, you're also going to the level that CW, you know, you've canceled Supergirl, you've canceled Black Lightning, which now we've found out recently that basically the spin-off from Black Lightning, Painkiller, has been canceled. They're not moving forward with it. It might, HBO Max, Warner might just do it on HBO Max, which, you know, still, if CW passed it on, they knew something was wrong there. You know, they've already passed over two pilots, actually 3 they've on there, including Dark Shadows. They've passed over a couple of series, which I'm glad they did not go with Dark Shadows. And people might say, well, that's racist. You know, it's because, no. Look at the ratings. The ratings were garbage. There was a bit of a boost on Black Lightning because it was the finale, but it wasn't much. This was a show, Black Lightning was a show with between 1 to 2 million viewers. And they lost pretty much, you got it down to about 500,000, on the average of 500,000 viewers. From 2 million viewers to 500,000 viewers, that should tell you where your show is going. Has nothing to do with racism. One actress was on her way. Even if Black Lightning went into another season, she said, I'm on my way out of the show, no matter what, however it was handled. I was leaving the show. And that's what happened. She left the show, even though the show was canceled, and they did their finale, and that was it. And all the other Arrowverse shows are not doing well. Superman and Lois, all the mistakes that CW made is now hurting a good show like Superman and Lois. They couldn't wait to put it on the air, so they threw what they had on the air. It's like the Batman trailer. They only had 25 minutes of footage shot, and they created a trailer from the 25 minutes of footage. They couldn't wait to show it. And you heard people not liking it already. They may not like it. So, well, it's only 25 minutes of footage. Yeah, 25 minutes of footage you shouldn't have put up there. Finish the story and then, put it out the way properly that you want to do. But, hey, listen. Who are we to ask? We are the fans that are basically out there talking about this constantly, who buy the t-shirts, who used to buy the comics, who used to buy the spend money on the figurines. These days we're just buying back issues. That's why manga is king right now, and anime is king right now. Now you may say to yourself, well, that's the end, what else could they ruin? What else could they do? Well, guess what? You may have heard this before, and you may not recognize what this series was. Back a bit when Hollywood took chances, USA Network had a TV show called The 4400. The 4400 was a science fiction show. Basically, the main premise was 4,400 people appeared out of nowhere after a comet hovers over and stops over an area, and all these people appeared, and most of these people have been dead or missing for over 50 years. And basically, they're still looking the same age that they were when they went missing or died. And this was a decent series. It was produced by CBS Paramount at the time. This was back in the 2000 range, the early 2000, 2004. Jacqueline McKenzie, Joel Gresh, Patrick Fluger, Conchita Campbell, Mashallah Ali, you know him. He's the next Blade. Charles Faust, Laura Allen. And it was a very decent show. It kind of faltered off after a couple of seasons. It got at least 5 seasons out. I think it was 5 seasons out of it. Now CW has the sights of rebooting it. And that's just trouble in itself. Because you know what they're going to do with this. They're going to change things around. They're going to change characters. And they're going to change the arcs. They're going to change how it looks. They're going to put a activision or political activist or political spin to the series. And the people who were really truly fans that have stuck with it all the way to the end, they're not going to enjoy it. They're really not going to enjoy it. They may get some new viewers on there, but some of the new shows that have been on the CW are starting to drop. I mean, you got like the Riverdale show, the ratings are low. The other series on there, Kung Fu, starting to drop. Walker, Texas Ranger. The only reason why Walker is still afloat is because it's Jared Paddock from the Supernatural series, but that's even starting to see some drops in the ratings on itself because it's not Walker, Texas Ranger. It's not the Chuck Norris Walker Texas Ranger. It's the CW's Walker Texas Ranger. It's not the same. And you may ask yourself, what else? They do this. It doesn't have to be this way. They can make their own shows. They don't have to do that. They don't, because this is what's coming up. Also, it's not only the 4400. Now, besides that, they're going to be doing a Bebo show. If you don't know what Bebo is, you haven't watched the Legends of Tomorrow TV series. It's that little bear that they had in there, a little crazy. That seems to be okay. But now they're after the Waltons. The Waltons. One of the great dramas from broadcast television. A classic. And if you haven't seen the Waltons yet, check it out. MeTV airs episodes, I believe, in the afternoon during the weekdays. I think mid-afternoon, somewhere around there. 2 or 3 o'clock around there. I could be wrong. Check your local listings for it. They're on there. I mean, so many people was in this TV series. It was great. It was about a family all living together, respecting each other. And they plan to do what they call homecoming, which I'm surprised that basically they were able to get Richard Thomas, who played John Boy in the series, to narrate. They're pulling a Stand By Me in a way, I believe. I think, if you remember Stand By Me, they had Richard Dreyfuss, who was doing the voice narration. I think that's what they're going to do with this. But that this is set in Depression era, 1930s. They're gonna mess with this, with the history. They're just gonna mess up the history. That's the first thing about the situation. I would not be surprised if they're gonna end up to be like saying, well, they were poor, but they had enough. They were comfortable. I said, no, they struggled. They struggled. I mean, not only that, they're going to be doing like a Scooby-Doo reunion. I don't know what the hell that is. That they're going to be doing a reunion special where basically they have to deal with a mystery. This is Warner. I mean, they're already, they're giving a Velma TV series where they've turned her, homosexual. They turned her gay. I mean, there's nothing wrong being gay, but I don't think you want to do that with cartoon characters. Iconic characters like this. I mean, it's ridiculous. This is a kid's cartoon. Why do you need to throw those, sexual innuendos? Why do you need to throw, activists in there? I mean, you see what they've done with a couple of things on Cartoon Network. Let's tell you, this is the main reason why Nick, Disney Channel, Cartoon Network, Boomerang, Adult Swim, Toonami, they've all failed. They've failed. And people say, well, no, they failed. They're still making programs. They have failed. Look at what they're putting back on their schedule. They're looking to take Venture Brothers back in just as a movie. Not a season, but a movie. Metacopolis. Aqua Teen Hunger Force, which already ended completely. 2 of the characters, spoilers, 2 of the main characters of the show died. Meatwad got married. Then they're doing a spin-off on some of these, on certain characters of the series. From the Aqua Teen Hunger Force, they're going to be doing series on the villains. Shorts on the villains, the side characters of the show. Like I said in other videos, they're treating all this as IPs, intellectual properties. They don't know what to do with these things. Because basically, these are not shows that they've researched. They've just taken it and they said, well, we're going to do something about 1933 Depression era our way. Not historical content. Not that they're going to hire someone who will explain to them this is what people were struggling during them. If you watched a Waltons episode, they struggled. They struggled. They had to make things with their own hands, in that time period. It was rough. People people glorify the way things were in that time period. And they said, oh, yeah, it was rough. No, people who were starving. People didn't know when their next meal would be coming from. People committed suicide because they once had money and they lost all their money and they decided to end their lives, which is wrong, altogether. But they won't get into that. They won't go into the detail of that. They'll try to put a narrative into the storyline that doesn't belong there and polish it up and say, here's the classic Waltons, or here's the classic Scooby-Doo, or here's the 4400. Brand new with new actors. It's all new for you. We don't want it. We don't want reboots. We're tired of the reboots. Make something new. They're afraid to do this. They're afraid to take chances. There was a time, and we're planning to do a Saturday pre-flight, a couple of episodes. There was a time Hollywood, the broadcasters, mostly independent stations, took chances with small TV shows. Now, some of them were thrown in weird time slots. Others were thrown in prime time. CBS, back in the day, used to have, they tried their hand at late night. Didn't work out well. Then they tried something different. And this is before David Letterman. This is before late night, The Late Show. Okay? They tried programming. It was called Crime Time After Prime Time. That was one of the things that they did. And you had some great shows. Some shows that came out of it: Forever Night, Silk Stockings. You may have heard some of these shows. Forever Night, you can watch on Tubi TV. It's a great show. Silk Stockings is also out there. You can see a sexy murder mystery, cop thriller type. And there were others like Dark Justice and many others. And then there were other series. Babylon 5 is another series that came out of this. Jack of All Traits, with Bruce Campbell, is another one out of this. Hercules, Xena, I can go on and on. Action Pack, Prime 10 Entertainment. There were many independent companies working with Warner Brothers, Universal, all these. They took chances back in that day with programming that the networks wouldn't even think of it. ABC, CBS, NBC wouldn't even take it. I'm not talking about Fox. Fox took a lot of chances on there. CBS took chances only on the late night. They took it to the late night, but they didn't go further on it. These shows could have ended up in prime time, but they gave up on them. They said, "Oh, the ratings weren't right." Well, they were in the 11:30 midnight spot. That's why. But they had their fan base. Forever Night ran for several years, several seasons. That should tell you alone. Silk Stockings got bought out by USA Network, got moved to USA, and did phenomenal. Did several seasons also. Those are some of the successes. Babylon 5. People are talking about Babylon 5 again. This is the program, the time period, and this is what we're doing on pre-flight. We're going to be doing a couple of episodes where we're going to be discussing some of the successes and failures of these programming. Because it was a time that people took chances. They don't take chances anymore. All they're doing is taking older intellectual properties, Predator, Star Wars, the Waltons. I mean, I can go on and on and on and on. And they're putting them out, shine them up to make them look good, to make them politically correct, according to them. Throw a little activism, politically charged topics, and throw them at you. And as far as the cartoons, they're trying to, grab your children and throw, stuff that children shouldn't be learning at this time, at the age that they're looking at. Children should be having fun. They should be having fun, watching cartoons, having fun, eating cereal. Sometimes asking mom and dad, "Hey, mom, dad, I want this toy." Even toys are not the way they used to be. A lot of the toys are gone than when I was a kid, and they don't have the same toys today like they used to. Some people say, "Well, the toys are better these days." Nah. No, they're not. There are more issues with toys these days than there were back when I was a kid. But this is what it is. They deal with these things as intellectual properties. They don't deal as a classic like the Waltons was. The Waltons was one of the great TV shows out there. And there are other great shows. The Jeffersons, All in the Family, Good Times. I mean, there's so many TV series out there. Mannix, the Alfred Hitchcock Presents, The Twilight Zone. Twilight Zone, how many times they rebooted The Twilight Zone and it didn't do well? That was awful. It doesn't have that oomph. Night Stalker, they tried redoing it, didn't work out well. Because it didn't follow the patterns of what the original was. They tried to bring it up. It doesn't work out that way. Go find new stuff. There are tons of scripts, and I know this for a fact. There are tons of scripts sitting on a lot of these guys' desks that they've just chucked into the shredder or they've thrown away from people that have created new stories that they could be making, but they're not going to take the chance. They're not going to, because they say, "Well, we can lose money." You're going to lose money now. You're losing money now. Do you understand that? There's going to be a time that the advertisers are just going to pull away, where they're saying, "Well, that's not my customer." You already see from the merchandising end, CBS has lost so many of the merchandisers, especially from the Star Trek universe. They don't want to deal with it. The people who do She-Ra, is that Mattel, Hasbro? They didn't want to. They didn't want nothing to do with the Netflix She-Ra. I'm surprised they went with the new He-Man after seeing some of the stuff that's come out. I'm surprised they didn't cancel it. Well, then again, it's not too late to cancel the toy line. These are the thought processes of all these people. They think that basically they know what we want. They don't know what we want. They're not listening to us. They're listening to the little amount of people that are on Twitter, the little 1%ers. They're not your customers. When will they learn? They're not their customers. When you have a viewership to the equivalent of a small town in Wyoming, that should tell you alone, maybe we got to look elsewhere. Look at something else. Or fix what's wrong, because originally it had viewers. There are things that had viewers, and now they lost it. You threw a pair of pants on Supergirl. You made her sister a lesbian. I mean, people don't want to see that. It's not that they're prejudiced against someone being gay. Is that's not, you want part of the story. There are many times you've seen some great storylines that come out of the DC universe, out of the Marvel universe. They've dealt with racism. They've dealt with drugs. They say like, "Well, we have to deal with it now." I was like, we've dealt with it before. You can't use the for example, the X-Men in the X-Men universe, the FOH, the group that was anti mutant. That basically were always after them all the time. That was racism. That was what they were pushing toward. Racism doesn't have to be a color. It could be a deficiency. It could be something that, you could have someone hate people that, say, for example, that have a certain disease, that basically are autistic, that may, you've had this. You've had this on. These are the stories that they give you. But then again, you might not want those kind of stories. You might want stories of an adventure. They used to give shows that had adventure in it. We had a Tarzan series. In fact, we just lost one of the actors that did one of the original Tarzan series from the 90s. You had stuff that basically was futuristic. There used to be a TV series that was based on the old serials. Believe it or not, I think it was NBC at the time. It was called Cliffhangers. That it was a story that every week, you had something happen, and then it stopped at some point. Similar like Doctor Who, where Doctor Who did that. They used to do those 30-minute episodes. Doctor Who would be in trouble. At the end of the episode, the Daleks might show up, and then suddenly go to credits. They tried that. Didn't work out well, but you had a fan base on it. These are the things that you have. There was some great stuff in the 50s, in the 60s, in the 70s. Great programming. We've discussed this on Pre-Flight. We've discussed this on Man with the Show. But people said, that's old. We don't want that. Well, who said so? Who said so? You? What was it? We've done this profiles on there. With who? Ain't the people that are criticizing you online. We've already heard that basically from several marketing agencies that that 95% of the people on Twitter that are comic book fans don't even have a Twitter account. Either they have a Twitter account, don't use it, or not on Twitter. So I don't know who you're talking to. What marketing companies are you doing it? But if the marketing companies are telling you that basically the true fans are not buying stuff because they really don't care about it stuff anymore, then maybe you should listen. Stop. Hollywood has to stop making programming and movies for themselves. Plain and simple. So you reached this part of the video. Thank you for tuning in. I know we went a little long on this. But like I said, we're working on something that'll show you the way things were. So don't forget to hit that subscribe, like, share this video, comment, let me know how you're feeling about this. Tell me, am I crazy? Am I right? Am I wrong? Let me know in the comments. Those of you out there, you know who you are, and you've commented very nicely on there, and you comment weekly on everything we put out. And I thank you for that. And for those of you who haven't subscribed, those 83% of you that haven't subscribed yet to this channel, maybe today is the time that I've earned your subscription, and it's time to hit that little button. Also, you'll notice on the top of the screen, top of the main page of the YouTube channel, we've put up a PayPal little symbol up there. You can also donate to us to keep this channel going, because yeah, it does cost us. It does cost money to keep this channel running. Everything costs money, equipment maintenance, everything. And, eventually we would like a staff. We would like a full staff so we can bring you more entertainment, more stuff to you, more programming. There's so many things on the drawing board right now, but we don't have the staff to do it. Not yet. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being there. That's the most important, that you have been watching. And we appreciate that. So until next time, bye-bye now.